Hey, buddy. Oh, it's raining today. What is it? I don't know. It's we're in December. I think it's around the 10th or so. Let's see. The day that lived in infamy was 7th. That was 2 or 3 days ago, I think. Anyhow, been I watch a lot of documentaries, um, and oh, and I meant to tell you, I made a video. I uploaded it, but there was some music playing in the background. So I don't know if you'll be able to see that one. You may have to. I was able to see it. It said partially hidden on YouTube or something. I don't know. Anyhow, you probably don't got to go to any great lengths. I drank some beer for the first time in a long time and was just rambling. So anyhow, yeah, I watch a lot of documentaries, and and I read a lot of books, not as many as I used to. One book that I always found really interesting was 1491, I believe was the title, or 1493. It's about the Americas before Columbus arrived, before European impact. And I'm not trying to minimize European impact on the Americas, okay? We were, well, I say we, the Spanish and what have you, the European colonizers, were very ruthless and bloody. And we didn't treat the Indians well after that either. We made treaties with them, broke those treaties. And that's unfortunate. It's in the past. But to me, history is very important. And it's why I watch so many different news sources, because I understand that there's a bias in news. And news is just history happening in the immediate. So if there's a bias, you got to be able to try and see through it. And you always got to assume there's a bias, okay? I don't care if it's news, documentary. It's most information that is passed around. I don't know if it's most, but much of it has an agenda. Think this way, think that way. Hate these people, hate those people. So you have to understand the biases. And in my 50 odd years, there has definitely been an anti-European, anti-white retelling of history. And that's pretty messed up, because we need accurate history so we can understand what is going to happen tomorrow. And you look at the American Indian stuff. The narrative that has been pushed forward in my lifetime has been they were these peaceful, loving, environmentally conscious, noble savages. Well, that's probably an politically incorrect term these days. Okay? And I'm not here to say that shit didn't happen. Okay, that the Europeans didn't, slaughter them and give them diseases and try to exterminate them. But here's the thing: we're setting up a false narrative of good versus evil. You paint the natives as good and the colonizers as evil. And that was certainly the perspective from the Indians' viewpoint. But the Europeans would have had a much different viewpoint. And that viewpoint was rooted in the culture and the morals of the time. Life was not as sacred as we say it is today, or we like to believe it is. It's not, but that's a different subject. And the American Indians were not universally as peaceful, loving, not even the majority of them. They were warlike. They sacrificed, dozens or hundreds of people a day in the Aztec Empire, ripping their hearts out. They had slaves. They would slaughter more buffalo than they could eat. And they would, attack other tribes. They were warlike. They were savage. In other words, they were just like everybody else on Earth at the time. So when you start to look at this one particular historical incident or situation, whatever you want to call it, environment, if you go into it from perspective that we're dealing with good guys and bad guys, okay, well, that's going to distort the motives on both ends. And then you don't have a true picture. We have the benefit of living in, at least in Western culture, a mostly peaceful existence. Other than 9/11, and I guess the earlier attacks on the World Trade Center and Oklahoma City, we really haven't been attacked by another nation. Japan sent over some weather balloons. Started fires. But, I'm sorry. And the Germans sent over some spies during World War II, but, we've never been invaded. I call it the Pax Americana. It won't last. All empires fall. America is definitely an empire by the definition. But that's the ebb and flow of history. Empires come, empires go. Wars start, wars end. If you ever get a chance, read Isaac Asimov's Foundation trilogy. There's, especially in that, I think it's in the second book, a character called the Mule. And to me, the Mule is just an incredible analogy for disruptive characters in history. Trump is a disruptive character. Don't care for the man. Better than Harris, I guess. Jesus. We have shit choices in this country. But whatever. Trump won because people like me are tired of being told that us and our sons are evil just because we're white. The pendulum has swung too far. So, but yeah, son, on history, which is just an incredibly important subject to me. understand as best you can the biases. You will not understand all of them, okay? Unless you're a lot smarter than me, which maybe you are. Look past agendas. Look for the facts. The facts are more important than the motivations. But the motivations are very interesting and important too. Anyhow. Okay, buddy. I'm watching a documentary right now about the first cities of the Americas. So that's interesting. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.